Tell me, have you been delayed? We're taking a trip and something happens and you're delayed. How do you handle it? Well, sometimes your anxiety might go up and you feel it. Ooh, it happens. But when you have a brain injury, that delay is on a complete different level. Welcome to my channel, y'all. I'm Aster, and this is Aster's Brain Injury. I can give you an example of delaying for me. And this was the delay from what I was seeing that was going to my brains that was supposed to be coming back out. I remember I was on the front porch of my house, and I was outside. And even though I was looking at the door, I still wasn't seeing what was coming outside of the door. And I was, looking over at the flowers. And all of a sudden now, my niece was right beside me. I jumped. Y'all, I jumped. Even though I couldn't jump, it's like I jumped. And I turned to my niece. I'm like, when did you get here? And she said, well, Auntie, you watched me coming out the door and walking to you. I was like, what? No, I did not. That delay that I had from what I was seeing with my eyes going to my brains and coming back out. Such a huge disconnect. It wasn't even like, ooh, just a little. It was a huge disconnect, y'all. So when you have that delay and everything is delayed from your processing, so, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and then for it to be coming out of your mouth, it's such a huge delay. I had such huge delays. Everything. I'm looking here to see what it is that I wanted to say. As I said, when you are going on a trip and something happens with the plane and your flight is delayed, you got to sit there and you got to wait. With a brain injury, even though it's delayed, you could sit there all you want. If your brain's is like, not today, honey, I'm not going to give you one lick of a little smidgen of anything to let you go. Guess what? It's not happening. So I had me a lot of that, a lot of delays with everything, because if y'all have followed me with my other videos, I talk of my speaking. I had to learn how to speak again because the words was getting trapped inside of my head and coming out of my mouth. I had a lot of delays with even just simply just to move, y'all, was a delay. Anything that I did was a delay. I'm sure I have, in my other videos, I talk about even just a signal from my stomach to my brains was a delay. My family is like, Aster, why are you eating again? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I'm just eating now. They said, no, you just ate. And so I had that delay. And just simply going to the washroom. I would drink my water, and I am a water drinker. So if y'all see, I drink lots of these a day. And did I go to the washroom? The signal to my brains, huge delay, like huge delay. And I'm like, I never went to the washroom. I had to set up on my watch a reminder, Astra, go to pee. I had a delay. So that delay needed to be addressed, like with my speaking, my walking, just to sit down, just anything that I was doing, that delay needed to be addressed. How did it get addressed? Well, my different practitioners, gave me exercises that I had to do. And when I say exercises, not just for, like that, but, where I went through vision therapy, because I'm sure in my other video, I spoke about how my vision therapist, she had asked me, Astra, did you used to wear an eye patch as a child? I'm like, what? No. Because one side of my brain would just shut down. So I guess the right side of my brain, because I think it goes, the right looks after the left eye and the left brain looks after the right eye. And so my brain would just shut down, and I was really only seeing out of my right eye. My left eye was like, I'm on vacation. It's time to party. And it was shut down, and that was it. So I had a lot of eye strain and all that kind of a thing. So all of these different things, I had to be retrained, just like simply just drinking water or just swallowing saliva will go down to the wrong part. That needed to be addressed and be retrained. So all of these different delays that I had, it took a long time, y'all, for me to begin to see even, I'm making a little way of progress. And then the next thing is that for my memory issues, I've got a lot of delays with that. I cannot tell you what year I'm in. I can't even tell you the day, the month. I know it's like it's summer outside, or I know it's fall or it's winter because I see the snow or whatever. But I cannot tell you the day, the month, the year. Like my mind is always thinking of 2013, or sometimes when I go to write, I would be writing 2002 and this is 2025. Like, see on my watch here, it tells me the day, the month, the year, as well as if it's a Monday, Tuesday, if it's a Sunday, whenever. It tells me. If I did not have that, I would not know. I really wouldn't know. And that delay for me is still very prevalent. And there is a lot of things, like even what you're seeing, as I said, what I was seeing, and then what I wanted to say out of my mouth. Like I would say, I need the paper towel, but I'm saying the scissors. Or, like even just today, I was telling my child, can you put this in the toaster for me? And it looks at me like, what, mommy? I mean in the fridge. But he knows I mean the fridge. So I still have that kind of mix up or that kind of delay. It still happens. And this is 11 years later. And it still happens. I don't know if it'll ever go. But I mean, some of my delays that I've had has gotten better, because anything that is shifted from where when I had my accident, when it was here and it's even moved this much, that's progress, So I smile at that, because when you think of delay, you only just think of when I'm going on a trip. But when you have a brain injury, I don't want to say it's always a trip and you're always on delays. Something is always happening what causes a delay. But I'm having delays. I'm like there's no tomorrow. Sometimes you want to get something out of your mouth and the words get caught up. They don't want to come out, or they get tripped up in your mouth. And so you have that delay of, oh, okay, what I'm reading now, my brain needs to process it. And after it processes it, and then if they want me to say something about it, the delay from reading, okay, all right, now, and then for it to come out is big. Or even just listening to someone talking and to process, to bring it out, is a delay. And it's even worse if somebody was like grrr, really fast. It's like I can't even understand everything that is coming out. But then with that delay, other things can take place. Like as I said, if somebody was speaking fast, then what it does, I can't understand, and then it begins to get agitated from it. And so, like I said, I've experienced a lot of delays. I still have some delays. There still is delays, and I don't know if it will ever go away, but I've accepted, all right, now the delays is part of my life. This brain injury I've accepted is a part of my life. Like I said, I've had to accept it because, when, for the parents out there, you're in the washroom, I don't know, mothers especially, you're in the washroom and your little baby, they're learning how to crawl and whatnot. And what do? You go into the washroom and you may not close the door all the way in, but you just close just a little ways in, but they can't see you. And what are they going to do? Boof! Mommy, what are you doing? And they want to know. Or even toddlers, they want to know, why you up in there with the door closed? And it's not closed. But this is how it is for me with the brain injury. My brain injury was just like, poof, knocked in the door. And it's like, guess what? I'm your brain injury and I'm here to stay. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want you to. But guess what? It says, you ain't got no choice, woman. Astra, you don't have a choice. This is what's going to happen. So there's a lot of things that I am learning, and there is a lot of things that I will continue to learn. I've, gotten better with where I once was, and this is where that saying comes, you're closer to the end than when you first began. And, for me, I'm just taking it one step at a time. And this is why I would encourage y'all, just take it one step at a time. This is why you hear me keep saying, journal, write down, today I was not able to, or today I was able to, or, my head was just, felt like my head was just like this big because of the pain. Whatever you write, and make sure you date it, because when you look back, whether it's 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, you're going to be like, what? I didn't know. And guess what? That's a reminder to you of where you've come from. Like the progress, you're seeing the progress. Like you're able to read the progress. Because like I tell you, I've seen in my writing where I am tripped up. I shouldn't say tripped up. Where I am supposed to have started this marathon, but I'm still jumping right here. I'm jumping up and down. What? And I see that I've repeated one word like 3-4 times, and then afterwards I continue going on. My brain is not even picking up that I wrote one word 3 or 4 times, and then I continued on as if that was, just a normal part of the sentence that I was writing. And this is why I say, y'all, this is why I encourage y'all to journal. I would have never realized that I was doing that kind of a thing if I never had it journaled, you know. So there's a lot of things. Like I said, y'all, I got years. I mean years and years of journaling that I was doing. And I was doing this on a daily basis, you know. And there's a lot of things that I will talk about, you know, later on. But, you know, as I said, but today, simply it was just about delays, how we all experience it. I'm curious to know what your delay was with your brain injury. Was it just your speech, or was it your thinking, or was it both, or, you know, what you were hearing? That's another thing too, because, you know, what you hear also too is a delay. And like I said, that delay. So you're hearing, but yet you're not hearing, because there's many times like I've gone out with my mother, and my mother's like, "Oh, did you hear what she says?" And I'm like, "What? No." So I'm hearing, but there's a delay within my brains and with my hearing about these things. Like, you know, I find this fascinating that with a brain injury, there's a lot of things that we might have that is similar, and, you know, we'll understand one another because we share that, you know, similarities. And then there's going to be other things that, you know, I might go to the right and you veer off to the left. Why? Because, you know, everybody's brain injury is going to be different. But as I said, you know, I find it amazing how these kind of things takes place and how it happens. And then you as the individual now, instead of you, like, say, going this way, you now have to circumvent, and you might have to go around in circles now in order to get to where you need to go. And when I say need to go, I mean like with your body and your brain injury. So anyways, you know, I'll take my leave now. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell, y'all. I'll definitely catch you in the next video. And please, as I always encourage y'all, to journal. And, you know, let me know. Questions, I love them. And I will definitely get back to y'all with those questions. And so with that, I shall take my leave now. And I'll definitely see y'all. Take care. All right, bye.